What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Built to Endure. I wish my voice was built to endure, so I apologize. It's the pollen in the South. But today, on today's episode, I wanted to get into building muscle because muscle is longevity of life. So, the big mistakes that we make when it comes to muscle, there's really three basic categories. First is undereating. So, let's jump into that. Most people undereat their protein goals usually by 50 or more grams a day. And so, like, we want to look at ideal, like if you're not morbidly obese, you're looking at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And if you get, and you've got a lot of weight to lose, let's say you're 300 pounds, you don't need 300 plus grams of protein. That's just simply going to slow digestion. It's going to cause a lot more slower motility. Like a lot of things are going to probably happen negatively more so than positively. The other thing too is like we can use protein in the thermic effect of food because it's actually going to help burn calories simply by using it as a source of energy. So as it breaks down, our body's going to actually use calories to break it down to turn it into energy. So it's really important to know that we can use it as a tool, especially like if you're getting into deep in prep. There's a lot of things that you can do with protein to kind of offset some satiation, some hunger cues, some things like that. So, but the big thing is most people undereat it. Where those sources come from, you definitely want to get it from animal protein. That's the biggest one. The vegetarians are going to say, you can get it from tofu. Who the F likes tofu? Like, I mean, whatever, to each their own, I guess. And then when you get into a lot of the soy-based proteins, you can also get into some estrogenic type effects that come from the soy. So it's really important to make sure that you understand the source of the protein that you're going to get. It's really important to make sure that it's good, high quality animal protein sources. So that's the first one, is making sure that we're eating enough. And those are kind of the goals. So the minimum for me is kind of zero point 0.7 grams per pound of body weight is the minimum to actually grow and keep muscle. So you go any lower than that, you're going to be looking at some muscle cannibalism and, atrophy that's going to happen just simply because you're not eating enough. So that's the first one. The second one is when it comes to training, people are always chasing being sore versus chasing progressive overload. And I'm sure that we can know those people that are always looking like, I gotta be so sore after this damn workout, or it wasn't a good workout. That's not necessarily the case. You don't want to go in and annihilate your body every single time you step in the gym. You want to go and simply try to stimulate the muscles that you're trying to grow. Like I had chest today. I wasn't focused on seeing how many times if I could get, 405 on the incline just because chasing my ego. That has no room when you're trying to actually build your body for aesthetics and for function. Sure, it's great that you can bench press a car one time. Like, I've been there, I've done it, I've got my ego lead me. Like, it's not that I'm perfect, because trust me, I've been there. And sometimes, like, I'll be like, all right, let's see how strong this old man can be. But at the end of the day, we're wanting to chase progressive overload. So if you're going in and you're able to do a lift that you did last week, but you're able to add 2.5 pounds to the bar, that's what we're looking for. So we want that stimulus. You're forcing your body to be accustomed to the load that you're putting it under. You're making it grow. And sometimes we just have to do that. And sometimes we have to do it through volume too. So it's not necessarily just weight on the bar, but can you do it another rep with perfect form? Can you do it for another 2 reps, perfect form? Then you're able to add more weight. So it's the progressive overload idea gets skewed because it's slow. It's boring. But the thing is the slow and boring stuff is what works. It's the proven system for years and years. You can do all this science-based lifting and all that, but if you're adding weight to the bar, your body's going to change, period. If you're adding reps to your set, your body's going to change, period. It's really, really important to make sure that you do that. So that's the first two things is eat enough protein and then chasing progressive overload. The third thing that we want to make sure that we're focused on is making sure our hormones and everything is firing off the way that it should. And everybody's going to say, well, lifting weights can stimulate testosterone. 100%. The thing that we have to remember is there's endocrine disruptors in our society, in our system, in our food, in our water that we can't control. We can try to do it. And there's some people that are genetically, you know, got the crappy shoe to the lottery because they got really crappy genetics. And so they have low T. So getting your blood work done to find out where you are. You may not need to be on TRT. That's okay. But as long as it's you're in functional range to where you can actually make progress, that's all that matters. But if you're suboptimal for your age, it needs to be addressed. And most people are just so scared to have that conversation because they feel like they're less than a man. They feel like they're, and this goes for women too, because women need hormone support as well. Especially your progesterone to estrogen ratio is the most important indicator in a female. So, because when you're estrogen dominant, and I spoke about it this morning, it's not that you have too much estrogen. You just have too much unopposed estrogen. And so progesterone, like if estrogen's high, progesterone will counteract some of that estrogen. Progesterone will counteract it and make it work a little bit more efficiently the way that it's supposed to, because you know, you know, really estrogen runaway is not good. You will be anxious. You will be have so much stubborn body fat that you can't get rid of, and you're just going to be really, really frustrated with everything that you try. And so, part of it's attached to the emotion and the anxiety that estrogen comes with it. Progesterone calms the body and it simmers it down. And so, my wife is on progesterone, and it was actually what helped her get off of her Lexapro. And so she was on anxiety meds for years, and it was simply a hormone imbalance, not anything else. And so it's one of those things where you just have to take a step back and look at root causes, which we always preach around here. Fix the root cause and not the symptoms. And so it's one of those things to where I am so keen on hormone optimization because it makes such a big deal. Like, even if a female needs testosterone or if a male needs testosterone, get it, because you're going to feel so much better. Every man that I've ever had jump on TRT and get optimized, they always say it's like someone turned on the lights and they can actually see again. They have hope, they have drive. And for me, like, it's such a huge thing when it comes to building muscle. If you're optimized hormonally, your body has the tools it needs to build the house. It's like having a carpenter try to come frame your house without a damn hammer. Not much is going to get done. So if you give it the right tools, you're going to be much more equipped to handle the job at hand. So these are the big three things that we need to make sure that we have locked in when we're trying to build muscle. Got to make sure we're eating enough protein, the very, very minimum, 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, period, end of story. The next one is we got to make sure we're doing progressive overload. Stop chasing being sore. Start chasing putting some damn weight on the bar or some reps on the sets. Those are the two things. And the third thing, three, I get my hand work. Three is optimize your hormones. Make sure that you have the tools that you need to build the house that you really want to do. Because without it, you are literally working empty-handed. And so you're swimming upstream when you should be swimming downstream. Because building muscle, yes, it is hard. It takes time. It takes a ton of effort, but it takes all these things to be tied in together so that we can actually get it done. And that's the thing that most people, if you're missing one of these, none of them are going to matter. So you're eventually going to hit a major wall, and that's where you're going to get really frustrated. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I'll be happy to help you out any way I possibly can. be sure to catch the next episode of the Built to Endure podcast. See you guys in the next one.